Go ahead. So Sue first,
Okay.
sorry.
Our mission, Helping Parents Heal, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting parents whose children have passed. Through support and resources offered, we aspire to help individuals become shining light parents, meaning a shift from a state of emotional heaviness to one of hopefulness and greater peace of mind. Helping Parents Heal goes a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and afterlife evidence in a non-dogmatic way. Helping Parents Heal affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background, and encourage open dialogue. Attendance at this meeting is voluntary. We hope that participants will learn from and share with each other. Discussions here are not confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Zoom meetings run by leadership are not confidential. These meetings typically feature guest presenters and are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members worldwide can watch and benefit. Neither type of Helping Parents Heal meeting is designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers, allowing parents to learn about many possible ways to heal. This includes presenters covering progressive topics such as afterlife evidence and connecting with children who have passed. The views expressed by our guest speakers may or may not reflect the opinions of Helping Parents Heal leaders and members. So we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you, Sue. That was perfect. And I'm also thrilled that Jeff is here. So Jeff Hollahan is one of our board members for Helping Parents Heal. He's also a very active member of the Helping Fathers Heal group. And I just wanted to tell everyone, if you want to say who you are, where you're from, if you're a board member, if you're an affiliate leader, or if you are a caring listener, please put it in the box. And we're grateful that you're here. So Jeff, if you'd like to read Sunny's bio or some of Sunny's bio, please go ahead.
I will give it, you get the whole enchilada tonight, but not before I call out my brother Steve, who's here tonight. Good to see you, brother.
Oh, hi, Steve.
Sunny Dawn Johnston is a renowned psychic medium, visionary, and spiritual business coach. She's a regular Woman's World magazine contributor and has penned 23 books, including Invoking the Archangels and The Love Never Ends. Sunny offers courses, one-on-one sessions, and live events through which she's nurtured a vast global community. Whether it's face-to-face or digital, her mentorship has empowered countless individuals to align with their inner selves and embrace a higher vibrational, multi-dimensional existence. She's created the Elevate Your Life membership platform, a space dedicated to crafting a life filled with abundance, self-appreciation, and happiness. As the leader of Elevate Your Life, Sunny emphasizes accountability, support, and guidance, ensuring sustainable and purposeful transformation. Sunny has been working with angels since she was a teenager and is passionate about sharing her expertise so others can feel the powerful presence of angels in their lives. Sunny dedicates her time to volunteering as a psychic detective for Find Me, a global nonprofit. This organization brings together psychic, investigative, and canine search and rescue volunteers, all working in tandem to aid law enforcement and assist families of the missing and victims. For more information about Sunny, check out her website at www.sunnydawnjohnston.com, and I will put that link in the chat for anybody who's interested. And I might add, Elizabeth, you can help me out here. Sunny was an in-person presenter at our Phoenix meeting about 5 weeks ago, and that was that recorded? Can the
It was
participant?
recorded, yes, and
Okay.
it's available on YouTube, but I do such a terrible job of recording that If she talks about some of the same topics tonight, it'll be wonderful. If not, that's also okay. I know that Sunny's guided by who's in the meeting to talk about what she talks about. And I just want to say, first of all, that I am thrilled that you read that so beautifully, Jeff. You did a great job. Also,
I'm just
that
surprised
Reverend.
she has. I'm surprised she has enough time to be here tonight. We were blessed beyond words. She's got a lot going on.
Yes, she does have a lot going on. That's right. And it's wonderful to have Reverend Sue Frederick with us as well, who also works with angels the way that Sunny Dawn Johnson does as well. She's also incredibly intuitive, as Sunny Dawn Johnson is. And I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to Sunny because I know that she would love to speak to all of you. And thank you so much for being here, Sunny, tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Hello, hello. Great to see you all. Yeah, I need to update. I need to change that bio. That's what I need to do. It is long. And it's got the wrong email, a wrong website because I changed companies this year. So crazy me after 25 years. So I actually have schooloflight.biz now instead of sunnydawnjohnston.com. So yeah, we need to make a little few updates. But anyway, I'm super happy to be here. Thank you all for being here and allowing me to spend some time with you over the next hour or so. Is that what we have, Elizabeth? Okay. And I'm happy to open it up for some Q&A if you guys have questions. I find a lot of times people do have questions. So I just thought I would start by sharing with you that every time I do one of these, every time I have one of these opportunities to really sit in space, in sacred space, really, with those of you that have had a loved one, oftentimes your children that have transitioned, I really feel very blessed. This is one of the hardest journeys anybody walks on a human level, I believe. And so all of you showing up and being here and being present and the connection that you have and the service that you offer each other and the service that Sue and Jeff and Elizabeth create, and all of you that hold space in all these different communities all over the world is it's just really amazing. So I'm really honored and blessed to be here. So thank you. I wanted to start by just sharing a very little bit about my background so that you understand why I'm here and why I'm coming to talk with you right now. So I started connecting with angels at the age of 13. And it wasn't something that I was like looking for. It wasn't something that I was raised in. It just one night, I woke up in the middle of the night. And when I woke up, I saw this beautiful, colorful winged being above my bed. And the vision was calming, and I didn't feel scared at all. But what I noticed that was so different than any experience I'd ever had in my entire 13 years was this sense of peace and this sense of absolute unconditional love. Like those were the things that just this wave of energy moved through me. And so much so that I was so calm that I literally rolled over and went back to sleep. That's how safe that energy felt. And that then the next morning when I woke up and my head kicked in, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? And I ran downstairs and I told my mom what happened. And she said, well, Sunny, that's your guardian angel. And I said, I don't think I have one of those. And she's like, well, of course you have one. Everybody has a guardian angel. Why wouldn't you have a guardian angel? I'm like, well, if I have a guardian angel, they are not doing a very good job because I've had challenges and problems and I don't have as many friends as I want. And, and so if I had a guardian angel, my opinion at 13 was they were going to save me from anything difficult, hard, or challenging in my life. And what I learned is, number one, that's not true, that my guardian angel wasn't doing a bad job. I just had a different understanding of their presence and their purpose. But what also happened was that morning, my mom said something to me that actually changed the trajectory of my life. And that was after we kind of went back and forth with the, I don't think I have one. Yes, you do. I don't think I have one. She said, Sunny, last night I came into your room at 11 o'clock at night. So this happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. I looked at the clock. And she said, at 11 o'clock at night, notice all the ones, by the way. I came in and I prayed over you. And I asked God and the angels to keep you safe because I've been concerned about your mental and emotional health. And when she said that, the awareness that I had and the energy that moved through me, that I wouldn't have even been able to say that that's what it was then, was this curiosity. Like, okay, if that's true, I wasn't sure if it was true, but if that's true, then what have I been missing my whole life? If the angels are around in that way, if there is this spirit world that exists that I saw last night, then how do I create more circumstances, situations, scenarios to connect with them more often? Because the feeling that I had, that energy of unconditional love, I had never felt that in my life. And I have never forgotten that feeling since. Not once. So I come to you with the energy still. I'm still to this day 54 years old. This was over 40 years ago. And I come to you now from a place of curiosity still, because the curiosity is what has given me the opportunity to take one step and then the next step. And I hope that over this next hour or so together, that maybe it answers some of your curiosity questions, and maybe it also helps you to open up to, in an even greater way than you already have, to that connection to the spirit world, angels, guides, your loved ones that are in spirit. And as we open up, I believe, and as we desire to create that connection, and as we invite that energy in intentionally, consciously, we expand our energy, we raise our vibration, and we have some of the most amazing connections with our loved ones in spirit when we can learn to do that. And so I'm going to give you some opportunities and some tools and some techniques to help you do that, if that's all right with all of you. Are you open to that? Okay, awesome. So once I started connecting with angels, which happened very quickly, then that opened up into loved ones in the spirit world being around. We had a ghost that lived in our house, and she lived on the stairs. And everybody that would come in the house, when they'd go up the stairs, they'd like run up the stairs and the hair would stand up on the back of their neck and they'd get all freaked out. And like, oh, she's not harmful. She's been here for a long time. And they'd be like, this is freaky. But when we get to a place where we have loved ones in the spirit world, that's all you want is that connection. That's all you want is to feel that. That's all you want is your hair to stand up on the back of your head, right? Like you want that feeling. And so, the experiences that I had at that age really expanded me in a lot of ways, because although I hadn't had a loss of any kind, I hadn't had anybody that had passed away yet that I was close to at that point, I had a very deep awareness of the energetic connection, the grief that people carried, and I could see the vibration that people were in at different stages, different places, with different belief systems and different understandings. This is one of the ways that it came through for me. This is one of the visual experiences that I would have. So I want to talk about a couple things. The first thing is connecting with your loved one in spirit. So, and you guys can just share this in the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat because I like to be interactive. I get very bored if we're just, I'm just talking and you guys aren't having some conversation back and forth. How many of you are having consistent connection with your loved ones in spirit, where you can count on it? That, it's not like weeks and weeks and weeks go by, but you have consistent connection. You see them, you feel them, you hear them, you know them. So I'd love to have you share that. And then on the other side of that is how many of you are not having the connection that you would like to have? Because that's what I want to do, is help open that up for you and help give you some ideas in ways that you can start to create that connection. Because I am of the belief, different than some mediums, that every one of us, if you are a spirit in a body, that you have the ability to connect with your loved ones in the spirit world. Now, what I mean by that is you are a medium to your loved ones. Now, you may not be to your next door neighbor's loved ones. Maybe you're not at that space, like I would be, like some of the other mediums that you've that have come to the group and shared. However, if you have a heart connection with someone in the spirit world, I absolutely believe you are the very best medium to that person, if you can learn how to do a few things. So we're going to talk about that. So the first one is, I want to talk about raising your vibration. Okay, raising your vibration. So let's talk about that. What does that look like to you? And I just want you to throw in the chat, what does raising your vibration look like to you? What does it mean to you? How do you do that in a consistent way in your life? Because here's what I've learned. I've learned that the spirit world, it's not higher or lower. It's not like they're up here and we're down here, in the sense of, you know, spirit lives here. They're amongst us. However, from a vibrational level, our vibration, because we are a spirit in a body, the body makes us dense. So we have a lower energy. We have a lower vibration. And our work really is to raise our vibration. And the more we raise our vibration, the easier it is to connect with our loved ones. So what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen real quick. Hopefully this works just as perfectly as I have it planned. Okay. Oh, yes, it's up. Good. Okay. Hang on. I don't want you to see any of that stuff. Wait, can you see it? You can't see it, can you? Hang on just a sec.
We can see your family and your,
Yeah,
I guess
that's
this is your
my
screen.
grandkids. Those are my grandkids.
They're beautiful.
That's not what I'm trying to get you to see, though. Let's try this again. Can you see that now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Yeesh. Okay. All right. So this is the energetic vibrational scale. So if you look at this at the bottom, is the denser energy. Okay. It's not good, bad. This is not right, wrong. It's just dense energy. And then at the top is the expanded energy. That's the light energy versus the dense energy, expanded versus contracted. So as physical beings, you see us at the bottom. And the reason we're here is because we have the body. The body is dense. There is a density to it. And because of that density, although we are light, our spirit that's within the body is light, we have the physical body. So our vibration, we're at the very lowest energy, the lowest frequency. Now, when we drop our bodies, when we transition, when we leave the body, then our vibration automatically raises, simply because you no longer have the density of the body. All right. So what happens here is that when that, each time that we kind of raise the vibration, then we can tap in and connect with these higher frequencies. So if you see the chart, we've got deceased loved ones. When you are in that frequency, you're a little bit higher frequency than the physical beings. Then some people, once they transition, they go into the next frequency, which is a spirit guide. Okay. Then we move into the angels and the archangels and the ascended masters. And then we get to, at the very top, is the divine, the God of your understanding, creator, source energy, universe, whatever you call that highest frequency. So if we are at the bottom of this energy scale, and we want to connect with our loved ones in spirit, our spirit guides, our angels, then it makes sense then, based on this chart, that what we need to do is raise our vibration. Could you all agree with me on that? All right, so I'm going to stop the share. All right, so what I want you to think about first off is, if you have loved ones in the spirit world, or if you're wanting to connect with the angels or your spirit guides, then we want to start to get intentional about the energy that we bring in to our day-to-day life, right? So this isn't a judgment. It's not a right or wrong or good or bad. It just is. And what is that everything is based on frequency, based on vibration or energy. You can use any of the words that you want. When we're in a lower energy, we're dense. When we're in a higher energy, we're light. And the more light we have, the more light we connect with. And the more density we have, it's kind of like putting on a different pair of glasses, right? When you guys, I mean, any of you ever in a pissy mood and you wake up and you're in that mood and nothing, you're just there, you're there. And everything that you see, every experience you have is in, like, you're seeing it through those negative glasses, right? But then you could have a day, let's say, where you're in a higher vibration. And even if crappy things happen, you're still in that higher vibration because you're wearing a different set of glasses. You're looking through a different lens. And so what we want to do is we want to start to learn how to be intentional around raising our vibration so that we can raise our frequency. Because when we raise our frequency in a centered and grounded body, that's important too. In a centered and grounded body, we have the greatest connection. Excuse me. And that connection, it never ends. And it never leaves. And it never dies. It's actually impossible for it to, because it's spirit, right? So this is the energy for those of you that have loved ones that are in spirit that we want to connect with. We have to get to a place where we can raise that frequency. So if you are someone that's like, yes, I get messages and I see signs from my loved ones all the time, that's awesome. And I've never met anybody that said, yeah, I get enough. I think everybody's like, yeah, and I want more. And I want more, and I want more. I'll take 10 signs a day. That'd be great. So we want to start raising our vibration. And what's important is to understand that that looks different to every single person. All of you are going to do it different. So there isn't a right or wrong way. Some of you like might raise your vibration through music or through nature or through connection with your animals or through meditation or through prayer, right? There's lots of different ways that people will raise their vibration. But then one person might be like, I do have clients like this. They're like, I love to run. And I'm like, that does not raise my vibration. I don't know about the rest of you, but there's some people that's going to raise your vibration. Then you do that thing. But there's some of us that are going to be like, no, that is not, that's going to make me very grumpy and I'm going to be more dense, right? So we want to find what are your things that raise your vibration? And we want to do those consistently, not because you can't access the spirit world at all, but because if you want to have it more and more often, you have to shift your vibration. And we want to get closer and closer and closer to that higher frequency energy while we're in body. While we're in body is important. Now, why does it work this way? Because I ask spirit questions all the time. I'm like, why do we have to raise our vibration? Well, when we came into this body, a spirit came into this body, kind of landed into the body, and is like, oh my gosh, this is totally different than what I thought it was going to be. Part of our goal is to integrate the two, to be a spirit in the physical world, to integrate and to have, because how many of you like to just kind of check out of the body? I was very much like that in my teens and early 20s. I was like, I don't want to do the physical world. I don't like the physical body. I don't want to be in the physical body. I just want to I want to hang out with the angels and I want to be in the airy fairy world because I love that world. It was so awesome. It felt so good. And the world, this world was hard for me as a sensitive person at a young age, right? I made lots of unhealthy choices. I was around lots of addiction and I didn't want to be in it. So I try to escape it in those kinds of ways, right? And some of you may relate to that. So what Spirit said to me is, we are meant to learn how to integrate, how to be in the world, but not of the world, right? How to be the physicalness and connect with that and experience it, but with the spirit connected. So what's worked for me, one of the tools, and I read you guys have all kinds of different ways that you raise vibration, which is awesome. One of the things that works for me is having a morning practice every single day. I've done it for 28 years, over 28 years now, without exception. Sometimes it's very quick and sometimes it's longer depending on the time that I have. But I wanted to share that with you because one of the things that I recognized for myself is that what I would do, and maybe some of you have had this experience as well, is I would get wrapped up in my head about why things weren't happening the way I wanted them to, or why difficult things had happened in my life, or why my grandmother wasn't coming to visit me as much as I wanted her to, whatever it happened to be. And I would get in that energy and I would forget that I was in charge of my energy and that I'm actually in charge of the vibration and the frequency that I put out. And if I wanted to connect with her more, being frustrated and irritated and angry was not actually going to help me get there. It was going to actually push me away from getting there. And so it doesn't mean that I don't want you to feel your feelings, because I do. I think it's critical. If you don't feel them, they're going to live in your body and it's creating density anyway. Expressing them and moving them is really, really important. And also shifting them into appreciation. I love the word appreciation because appreciation appreciates, right? It expands, it grows into gratitude. I mean, this is the week of Thanksgiving, right? So what is working? What do we have? What are we grateful for? And bringing that energy can start to shift it. So what I started doing 28 years ago was a short little morning routine. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 30 minutes. It really depended on my energy and how I was feeling. And so I'm just going to share with you the 5 things that I do every morning because I found that a lot of my clients have really benefited from having something that's consistent and having something that you show up for. So the first thing that I do in the morning is when I wake up is I stay in bed. I know it goes against what lots of people teach. They're like, get out of bed, go into your other space. I don't do anything the way everybody does it. So I'm a little bit of a rebel in that way. So I lay in bed and I meditate. And my meditation might be 5 minutes. It might be 15 minutes. But my meditation is a little bit different than a lot of people's. And I think there's a misunderstanding that a lot of times we meditate because in that space, we think we're going to get the connection and get the message during meditation. Any of you feel that way? Like, is that why you meditate? Like, okay, I'm waiting for the signs. I'm waiting for the answers. I want to hear the voice right now when I'm in meditation. What I've learned is that meditation for me is more of an intentional connection to God, creator, source, spirit, almost like I'm plugging in. And it's acknowledgement that I want the spirit within me to be the one driving the car today. And I do that every day to remind myself that I want the spirit within me to be the driver instead of the human Sunny that can get into her ego, that can get into fear, that can get into all the different stories. I want spirit to guide me. And so what I found for me is that when I meditate, it's almost like I do like a visualization of like plugging in. And in that plugging in, it's an acknowledgement, spirit first. And when I do that spirit first, then I am connected the other 23 and a half hours of the day that the messages come through, because they don't just come in that half hour that you're being quiet. They don't. Do you notice that? And it's frustrating. You're like, I'm waiting. And they don't come then. They come in the moments when you're in the carpool lane and the radio's on and the kids screaming in the background and want you to stop at the store. Or they come when you are in line at the grocery store and there's 20 people around you. Or they come when you've got a big project that you're working on and you don't have 1 second to even sit with it, and that energy pops in and you can feel the presence of your loved one, right? They come in all these different stages and times, not just that little box of time that we've created. So meditation first and foremost. I call in the angels every single morning without exception to help me throughout my day, and specifically Archangel Michael. Why Archangel Michael? Well, number one, he's all of our buddies, even if you don't know yet. He's the one that helps us to hold and manage our energy. Okay, maintain our own energy. How many of you have recognized that you have a tendency to absorb the energy of other people, of circumstances, of situations, of what's happening in the world, right? We take on that energy, we absorb it, we feel it, we get upset about it. You have a right to do that, but it doesn't feel great. And so I learned at a young age that I really had to learn how to maintain my energy, my vibration, and my frequency. And I want to give you a little example of what that's going to look like. So with calling in Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael, if you aren't familiar, is the angel of protection, guidance, strength, courage. He helps us to really to protect our energy. The blessing in that is he can be with all of us at the same time. He doesn't have to just be with one person because he doesn't have a body, right? So he's a frequency and energy. So we can all call him in at the same time. But what happened for me is that when I was young, I was taught to protect myself, to protect my energy. Have any of you heard that term? Like, okay, you got to protect your energy from the negativity, protect your energy from the lower vibrations. And that always felt funny, like something felt off about that. And I wasn't sure what it was, but it always felt off. And then finally in my 20s, early 20s, I realized that what it was that me saying I needed to protect felt like I was just going into fear immediately. Like, what do I have to be afraid of? Like, if I am light and I am surrounded by the spirit world and angels and guides and my loved ones, why am I focused on protecting myself from energies, people, seen, unseen? Why am I doing that? That it just didn't make sense to me. So I asked Archangel Michael and the angels, I said, I need a reframe. I need to do this a different way. What would this look like? And so this was the visualization that I got, and the kind of the explanation. This is in my words, of course, because I was really trained by the angels when I was a teenager. So I would write everything down and just keep track of all the things that they were telling me and showing me and I was experiencing. And so I was pretty used to them coming through. When I'd ask a question, this is the guidance I got. So Archangel Michael said, when you protect your energy, it's you keeping everything out, keeping the people out, keeping the bad energy out, keeping everything away. And how many of you find yourself a sensitive person, right? Like you feel deeply, you're connected deeply, like you're a sensitive being. So I would go to the mall because I liked the mall back then. And I'd be like, oh, all those people are going to be at the mall. So I got to, before I get out and go into the mall, I got to get in my little bubble and I got to protect myself. And so then I would do that. And then I'd go in and I had kind of like okay, I just don't want anybody's energy. I just want to protect myself and stay clean with my energy and not absorb anybody else's energy. And what Michael said is when you're doing that, you're trying to keep everybody's energy out. We don't have control over everybody. You can't actually keep everybody's energy out. Have you guys noticed that? You try, right? You try to keep the energy of the world, the density that's happening. You try to keep that out of your space, but you can't control everybody else and everything that's happening in the world. So the difference is here, I'm trying to keep this out. Now, they changed the word for me. They said, try maintaining your energy. Now, maintaining my energy is, I'm just keeping my energy in. That I have control over. Are you with me? So I keep my energy in. So when I call in Michael every morning, it's to help me to keep my energy in, to hold my energy, my vibration, and my frequency. So then I'm only in charge of myself, which is really unusual because here I've been trying to be in charge of everybody for my whole life. Like, I'm telling everybody what to do. I'm going to control it all. I'm going to make sure it all is exactly the way that it is. And what we know, and all of you know, because you've experienced it, is you don't have control. We do not have control over anyone else. What we have control over is our energy. So learning how to, instead of protect, maintain. And so I invite Michael in every morning in just a short little meditation. I ask him to come in and help me to maintain my energy so that I don't absorb the energy of others, both high, low, good, bad, right, wrong, right? I don't want to absorb anybody's energy, seen or unseen. Okay, so that's the second thing I do. So first thing is meditation, and second thing I do is I call in Archangel Michael. The third thing I do, and the reason I do this is because this might not be true for you, but it's for sure true for me still to this day, is one of the challenges in my life has been being a good receiver. I've always been a great giver. I'm not a great receiver. Asking for help has not been something that has come natural to me. It went completely against the grain in the way that I was taught and the environment that I was raised in. And so that was receiving anything. That could be receiving compliments. It could be receiving love. It could be receiving help. It could be receiving support. It could be receiving money. It was all the things. Like, I had a big old thing around it. And what I found out was that it was also receiving messages. It was also receiving connection. So I had to shift that. And so what I do every morning is when I lay in bed, when my youngest son, who's 28, was little, and I would just lay in bed with him and I'd open my arms. I want you to try it for a minute. Okay. So I just want you to open your arms and open them straight out. And when you open them straight out, what do you feel in your heart space? Do you actually feel that open? Right. So what it does is it's not just an intentional energetic thing, but it's also a physical. I'm opening my heart space, literally, to receive. So I would just lay in bed with my arms open, and I would say, I am open to receive for my highest and greatest good. And I would say it, and I would feel it, and I would think it until it actually felt like I was open. And once I was done, then I was done. Sometimes that was 2 minutes. On hard days, it was a lot longer. But the intention was to open myself up to receive everything that's for my highest and greatest good. Because what I found is that I shut a lot of things out. I shut a lot of goodness that was coming to me out. I shut a lot of messages and connection to the spirit world because I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I deserved. Why me instead of somebody else? And that was my background, my training. You might not have the same thing. But what I do find is a lot of people have a tendency to struggle with receiving the connection, receiving the love, the support, the help from others. So that's number 3. Number 4 is I say, how may I serve? I recommend not asking that unless you're ready for the forms that the universe brings to you. Because sometimes like, oh, this is it, right? This is the way I am meant to serve today, right? And we want to do that with a grateful heart. So I always ask, how may I serve? And then when I get out of bed, I say the greatest prayer you can say, which is thank you. So I'm sharing that with you, not because my way is the right way. It's just a way. And one of those tools you might take with you that might be valuable, that might help you to open yourself up to now create a deeper connection with your loved ones in spirit, your angels or guides, or all of the above. And what I found is that so often we ask and we ask and we ask, but we're not open to receive. This is an issue. Okay, so I want to invite you to just feel into maybe the truth of that for yourself. That maybe, hey, I'm asking for that help and I'm asking for that support, but I haven't really been as open to receive as I would like to be. Let's just put it that way, as I would like to be. So what I thought we could do, if you're open to this, is I thought I would just do a little short guided connection to connect with your loved one. I think, is this true for me to say that it's all children? Is that true in this group? It's all, so I could use that term child. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay, great. I wanted to make sure because I know, and if it's different for you, if you happen to be on because you're hanging out with family and it's your cousin or your nephew or something like that, then you can just change that in your mind as I share it. But as I was kind of tuning in, I just felt like this might be a good opportunity to create a little connection there. So I'm just going to offer you a short heart-to-heart connection exercise to connect with your child in the spirit world. So if we could all just close our eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. And we're just going to take a moment together in this sacred space. And for me, I like to put a hand on my heart. Just place it gently on your heart with a nice, slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, just let your shoulders drop. Just let them soften. Then with your next breath, breathing in, I want you to imagine that you're breathing in the love that your child has for you. Their love didn't stop, didn't end, it didn't go anywhere. It's right here, right now, and it's surrounding you. Breathe that in. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. And as you exhale, you send that love right back to them. So it's this beautiful infinity of energy moving from your heart to theirs, to yours, to theirs. Inhale, receiving their love. Exhale, sending yours. And just let that rhythm find you. Inhale. Exhale. Your child knows this vibration, and they recognize this connection instantly. Every time that you breathe in this way, this focused way, you can meet them in the space between the physical and the non-physical, in the space where your love is the connection. And breathe in one more deep breath. Feel them. And one more breath out, sending your love. Let's just hold this for a minute, this quiet, sacred connection. In and out. In and out. And when you feel ready, take a nice deep breath. Come back to the room, open your eyes, your space a little bit. Could you feel that connection? That love? It's always right there. It's So I hope that brings you some connection. So what I'd love to do, I have about 15 minutes. We can do one of two things. I'm going to give, I like to teach to the group. So let's throw it out there. I can either do some Q&A or I could talk a little bit about reincarnation.
Both of those are wonderful. So let's see if people have questions first.
Yep.
I see that there are quite a few people writing in the chat box. There are so many people who are identifying with what you've said. So Jennifer is saying, oh, okay. So April's saying that she's a sibling. So we do have siblings on here as well. And
Beautiful.
not necessarily just children. Mike and Meg are saying reincarnation talk. So let's see.
If I could throw a thought out there, Elizabeth,
Yes,
for
please
those
do.
who didn't come with a pad and paper, Sunny, could you provide Elizabeth with a list of the 5
Sure.
techniques, just
Yeah.
so perhaps you could post that on Facebook
Yeah.
for everybody to go back and review?
Yep. You bet. Yeah. You know, I find that some of these things are so difficult to explain because they're not human experiences, right? Like there's so much that's beyond the humanness that it's nice to have some physical, practical things that we can do because the human part of us needs that. And so hopefully those are helpful. And again, I just want to remind you, doesn't mean that it's absolutely necessary for you to do. It just means that here's some things you can try. Okay, let's do reincarnation because I think that's I'm seeing
Lots of people saying reincarnation, that's for sure. So that would be wonderful if you could talk a little bit about reincarnation. And again, those techniques were wonderful. The meditation was wonderful as well. And everyone is thanking you for that as well. So anyway, yes, let's go ahead and hear you talk about reincarnation. And thank
you. The thing about reincarnation that can be challenging for people and sometimes concerning for people is that they get concerned that their loved one is going to reincarnate and then they won't be able to connect with them any longer. Right? Have any of you had that concern? Like, oh, well, what happens if they check out? Then I can't connect with them anymore. They come back down and how am I going to know? And those kinds of things. So I'd had a lot of questions about this over the years. And the first thing that I want to assure you of is that the way that spirit, so again, I just talk to spirit and then they give me information and I just write it down. That's how it's always been for me since that first experience when I was 13. So I went to them with, okay, now how about reincarnation? How does this happen? Well, they gave me several experiences. This was in my 20s where I started putting together the pieces, but then I was like, okay, I need you to really lay it out for me. And so this was the explanation that I got. And I'm also going to share with you my screen because I've got an outline that I think will be helpful for you to understand. So just 1 second, let me pull that one up. Okay. All right. Tell me if you can see this. Can you see that? Okay, great. Now, this again, I'm trying to give words and images to something that isn't human. Okay, first off. So hopefully this will make sense to you a little bit. Now, we can talk about quantum physics. That goes a lot higher. And a lot of times people have a hard time wrapping their head around it because then it's not about linear time. But I'm trying to give you just a visual of what actually happens. And then I'm going to explain it to you. So this great big circle at the top here, this is a soul. Okay, just someone's soul. In this lifetime right here, it's Mark's soul. And so Mark is in the physical form, that little body down at the bottom, and his essence, okay, the soul aspect of him is that little triangle above that says Mark. So if we look at this, the great big circle is the soul, okay? The heart in the center is basically the connection to your non-physical. So that big heart in the center, and then you see the little heart in the body. You might not be able to see it because these little squares are small, but you see the little heart in the person at the bottom. This is the spirit. This is the connection between the human, the soul and this humanness. So the spirit is what gives the body life. Without the spirit, A body is just literally skin and bones and organs. You guys all know that if you've ever been with a body that no longer has a spirit in it. The life, right, is the spirit. And that spirit is the energy that is connected to the soul. So each one of these names, if we look at Mark and we go counterclockwise, Frank, Catherine, John, Harold, June, these are all different iterations of this soul. So different lifetimes that this being has lived. So each name is just a part or an aspect of that soul. And the empty aspects I just put in there as that, and these are some more to come because there'll be more lifetimes to come. So there isn't an amount. Some people are like, yeah, there's like 40 lifetimes. There's 900 lifetimes. I've never gotten a straight answer. So I'm not an expert. I don't know. But there's lots, like let's say in the hundreds, for example. So when you're born, an aspect of your soul incarnates into the body. So that's who we're calling Mark right now. But when Mark dies, when he drops the body, that energy that was giving life goes right back into the soul. Okay, so it reemerges back into non-physical. And when it does, then it's living in that soul circle, so to speak. So your loved one that had a physical body, let's pretend that your loved one is Mark. Your loved one that had a physical body who is no longer in physical form. The soul has all memory and all connection to all things that have ever happened to in any of the lifetimes. Okay. So when Mark has reemerged back into non-physical, even if he then came back in, reincarnated, let's say into Tom, okay, even if he reincarnated into Tom, the loved one that you know as Mark, all memory connected to Mark, all life experiences that happened in Mark's life are all in that soul. We call these the Akashic records. Okay. So all of that is still living there. So let's say that Mark dropped his body. He came back. He's reunited in non-physical. And now he has come back in as a being of Tom. And you're wanting to connect with the Mark that you know from this physical experience. You can still connect with him because it's just an aspect of his soul that is still here, that you can still connect with, that you can still talk to, regardless of whether he is incarnated again or not. So all of the time, all instances, the soul is always intact. It never loses, it never forgets, it never has no connection to, it always has connection. So I wanted to share this with you because one of the experiences that I've had happen a lot with clients is that they have experiences where a new baby is born. And I'm sure some of you have had this. A new baby is born and they're like, I swear this is my dad. I swear this is my brother. I swear this is my son. They have the same look. They say the same things. They recognize, all of those types of things. Now, I cannot say that it's common for them to come back into an incarnation that quickly, but it does happen because I had it happen. I've had 2 clients that has actually been the case that were briefly gone and reemerged. And I also had an experience where my mother was actually one of the beings that came through an experience that I had. So it does happen. It's not as common as we like to think. But what I wanted to share this with you, and why I wanted to share it with you, is because for so many of us, people worry about the fact that they may not be able to then communicate with them later. And I want to create the awareness for you that that's not true. That soul will always have all memory of every experience that they ever had, which means you can tap into them, and they are the same energy and the same beingness that they were here, just without the body. Okay. Does that explain it a little bit? Does that help? Does that give you more questions? Because this is a complicated subject that I tried to make as as simple as possible. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about that as well.
I think that that explained it really well. I'm not sure, right now we don't have any questions in the chat box, but it certainly is reassuring to know that even if our loved ones do come back while we are still here, they're still over there as well. And
Yeah.
in fact, I've even heard that it's possible for us to be over there as well with our kids, so that our kids actually see us when they transition because
Absolutely.
our souls are there. So,
They
um,
can be in both. We can be in both places. We're not limited. We're a spirit first, the body second. So we are not limited by these bodies except for in the mind.
exactly.
Elizabeth, I
Yes,
think Marina has her hand raised.
yes, she does. So, Marina, let's see if you can unmute and maybe ask a question. We have
Yes.
about 3 more minutes.
Continuation to what just Sunny just said. If the circle that you showed, it has all the information about all previous lives. How do we distinguish what is the portion of the soul that we know from this current life? How would we know? Because the information is mixed up.
No, it carries a frequency because it's all vibration. So each incarnation is a particular frequency. We identify that as a name. So here it's a name, but in everything in the spirit world and here too, everything is energy first. So it's an energy. So it's not like it's all muddled. There's a frequency of, let's say, Mark, and then there was a frequency that was Catherine, and then there was a frequency that was Jen, and they all are a part of that soul's makeup, that connection, that expression, let's say.
That's a wonderful answer. Thank you. And I am just so excited for all of us to be able to hear you speak tonight, because this has been so uplifting to me, and I think I needed this right before the holidays. The holidays are always very difficult for all of us because having our loved ones here, especially during Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a holiday in the United States, at least, that everyone celebrates. All of the other holidays, Christmas or Easter or all these other holidays, are not necessarily, or Hanukkah, or not necessarily celebrated by everyone, but this is a holiday that everyone has memories of our kids with. And so being able to understand that there are ways to raise our vibration, to be able to connect with them better, especially during the holidays when it's so important for us to have them near to us, is really important. And I appreciate you coming on and talking to us about this. We have people in the chat box saying that was really informative. I got so much from you today, Sunny. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sunny, Elizabeth, Sue, and Jeff. A lovely meeting. It really has been wonderful. And do you have any closing thoughts that you'd like to share with us before we sign off and have everybody say goodbye?
Oh, I always have thoughts.
Okay.
One of the things that I would say is I think that's really a beautiful awareness. Thanksgiving, at least in the United States, everybody celebrates. And so of course you're gonna have memories and the holiday, whatever holidays you spend, and that you celebrate. And I think one of the things that I know that I do in my own life, in honoring my loved ones that have transitioned, is creating a space to share and talk about that, and talk about them, and bring in the memories, and have the love and the celebration. Because one of the things I know for sure is that our loved ones in spirit, they love a party. Bring a high frequency, bring an energy of joy and happiness, and they're going to show up. And that's when you feel them and you see them and you experience them and you see the signs and you get the angel numbers and you get all the cool things, because they are attracted to that higher frequency. They want us to be in joy, right? Joy is the highest expression of love. So they bring those opportunities. They might even remind you of memories that you have, and you're like, oh, I just remembered they're sending that to you so that you can get into the frequency of that, so you can feel them. And so I hope that helps, friends. And I'm sending a lot of love and energy and healing to each and every one of you as you walk through the holidays that are coming.
Thank you. I would love. That was beautifully said, Sunny, and I know that this is going to bring so much peace to so many parents here and then also on YouTube after. I'd love to have a few closing thoughts from Reverend Sue Frederick, who I love having here as well, and who is also an angel intuitive and numerologist. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I love Sunny. I've known her for a while, and actually she's on my podcast and it'll air next week, December 6th. So you guys tune in for that. What I also love about Sunny is that all of her messages to us are about empowering us. And some of you know my numerology, Sunny, is an 8-path. So she is beautifully empowering herself and everyone to realize how they can connect to spirit and how easy it is when we shift our frequency. So thank you so much, Sunny, for sharing those beautiful insights that will help everyone, especially as we move through the holidays.
Oh, that was beautifully said. Oh my goodness. And yes, 8 paths. So lots of very strong people. Suzanne Giesman, as you were saying, as well as Lisa Wilcoxon and all of these people that helping parents heal so much. Thank you for being an 8 path, Sunny.
Thank you.
And Jeff, would you like to say something as well?
Oh, yeah. Like I want to follow those two.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Put me on the spot. No, just real quick. I think it's great. I think one of the things that Helping Parents Heal brings to the group is the access to mediums to make the connection with your kids. But with Sunny and Reverend Sue here teaching the way that we can make the connections ourselves, I just think that's so valuable. And we're very thankful that they're both kind of in our family, and we appreciate everything that you two bring. And thank you very much. And I just like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Perfect, Jeff. And thank you again, Sunny, for speaking tonight. And we're going to ask everyone to unmute and say thank you and good evening and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
It's Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all so much.
Thank you.
Happy holiday.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Wonderful.
you for such a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you, Sunny.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.